It's official, Ben Chilwell is a Chelsea player, making that £50 million switch from Leicester City. Here to talk about it, Ian Darke, Shaka Hislop and Craig Burley. Craig, how good an addition is this to Frank Lampard's squad?
I think potentially could be a great addition. Can't believe I'm saying this, but 50 million seems quite reasonable in today's crazy market. And Chelsea need a left-back, because Alonso, who has been pretty good for them, has operated much better when it's been a back three and he's a wing-back. And I'm pretty sure that Lampard doesn't want to go down that road. He doesn't want to play that system. So he needs a better left-back. I don't think Chilwell had his best season at Leicester, certainly not at the end when he obviously had the injury. But I think the potential is there. He's got the experience now. He can run the whole side if necessary. He's very, very fast. And he has a lot of Premier League and international experience now. So it clearly has been a position Chelsea have been looking at it amongst many, many others. And I think while Chelsea fans might be thinking, well, he didn't look great when we played them towards the end of the season, I don't think that's the Ben Chilwell that long-term they will get.
Good business, in your opinion, Ian?
Probably, yeah. I think there are one or two people, though, good judges, who've got reservations about Chilwell as a defender. He's obviously very good going forward. He is England's #1 left back at the moment. But is he as good doing the defensive side of the job? And that's where Chelsea have had their problems this past season, because a lot of their games were like basketball games. They look like scoring, but they always look like conceding. Maybe the more important signing, which is imminent, is Thiago Silva. Even though he's 35, he might give a bit of solidity for that defence. But yeah, Craig's right. By current valuations, £50 million for Chilwell is probably decent business.
Shaka, are Chelsea building a team that contend for the title?
They are, if not this season. I mean, my only question mark is with the additions is, of course, how do all the parts fit together in terms of team chemistry? We've seen a number of teams in the past spend heavily in the summer, and it just doesn't gel straight away. I think without question, given the signings, given the age of the signings in particular, Chilwell himself will still only 23. I think they are building a squad that will contend, if not this season, certainly in the long term. And I think it's good business from Frank Lampard on a number of different levels.
Ian, what should the ambition be for Chelsea this season coming up?
I think it's much, much different for Frank Lampard this season. Last season, really, it was almost like a free hit for him because there'd been a transfer ban. He was bringing the young players into the team. By and large, he did that successfully. Nobody thought they'd make the top four. They did. This time, he's got to keep a lot of people happy. Not all those new signings are going to get into the side. It's going to be a lot of competition for places. He's got to keep some big egos in check. And now the expectation is not only that they make the top four, but maybe they get into the title shake-up after that level of expenditure.
Can he live up to those expectations, do you think, Craig?
Well, he'll have to, or he'll be out. You know, and he's adored by the Chelsea fans because of his hugely successful time there. But Abramovich is not running a sentimental ship, and he's backed him. And Frank Lampard now knows he's going to have to prove his worth. I think we saw enough last year in terms of the way his team played that there is a lot of hope there. I think there are concerns about the way his team defended at times, and that's something that he's going to have to sort out. But the thing is, Abramovich and the ownership will expect him to be, as Ian said, in the title shake-up. But the very least they'll expect, if they're out with the title running during the season, is that, and you know I've talked about this a lot, the gap that Chelsea and Man United had to the title gap to Liverpool was over 30 points. The very least that he can show, Dan, that if he's out of the title race next season, is that gap has been narrowed considerably. You know, he cannot afford to finish, you know, in fourth spot next year, 33 or 32 points off the top boys. That's not going to cut. So as long as there's progress there, I think he'll get some time. And that's where the pressure is going to be. That being said, if the players do gel and there's been a heck of a lot coming in, I don't see any reason, none at all, why they can't have make a really good fist of pegging that gap to Liverpool back.
Meanwhile, Ian, we've seen James Rodriguez linked to a move to Everton to once again link up with Carlo Ancelotti. Do you like this idea?
Well, I think it would be a punt, but I guess most transfers are a punt. I mean, he is a lovely player to watch when he's at his best. And he can run a game of football. He can pick passes. But he's had a bit of a checkered time of it, quite honestly, where he doesn't seem to fit in at some big clubs. Now he'd be going, I hope Everton fans will excuse me, but a club not quite as big as Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Can he haul them up and be the key man? I think there's a question mark against it, but I think it's probably a risk worth taking. It's quite an exciting signing, I think, for the Toffees fans if it does come off.
It's a big risk, though, isn't it, Shaq?
It's a big risk, but at 30 million, I think it's a risk worth taking. Listen, James Rodriguez, and Ian is right, didn't fit in well at Real Madrid or at Bayern Munich. But I think what you see from him, or when you see him at his best, is when the team is built around him and playing for him. That's what you've seen, certainly in his earlier days with Colombia, and what you'll expect with Everton. If Ancelotti makes Rodriguez his linchpin and fits the other parts around him, I think it's a risk that will pay off hugely given the price tag.
Craig?
Well, I agree. Look, if you're a supporter of a football club and you're signing this calibre of player, this calibre of talent, then that's exciting. But I just don't see where the fit is, if I'm being honest. And the reason is, I mean, if you looked at Everton in the last 6 months or so or beyond, they've had two up top. Now, that might change, but they've gone forward early, over the top with Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, and they've used the physicality to try and get in behind. But as Shaq said, you're going to have to build everything around him. You're going to have runners, workers and grafters around them, because generally Everton haven't dominated games. And we know James Rodriguez, he's not first in the queue when it comes to working back. So in terms of a talent, yes, but it could be, something similar to Mesut at Arsenal, where you have all this talent, but how does he fit into this current team? And that's kind of where I see it with the current Everton squad.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.